While we're waiting for everything to start, we have a $100 donation from Drops. Thank you for doing this each year. Always a great entertainment for a great cause. This is for letting Tails tag along in the Sonic block. Gotta go fast, but don't forget your friends.
All right, cool. Ready, boys?
Yeah.
Of course.
Know it.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, I'm Tudos. This is Crazy Taxi 2. Everyone knows the original Crazy Taxi. Not many people know there is a sequel called Crazy Taxi 2. And not many people after that know there's a Crazy Taxi 3. But today I'll be doing Crazy Taxi 2. This game is pretty much the same physics-wise as Crazy Taxi 1. The main difference is they've added a jump mechanic. So now we got jumping taxis all over the place. Crazy Pyramid, which is what this is a set of 16 challenges, which I'm trying to complete as fast as possible, of course.
The challenges actually end up going by rows. This first row is sort of a crazy Olympics of sorts that gets you used to your jump mechanic.
You can see me exiting immediately after it says new record. There's a little cutscene after you complete levels displaying the high scores, but I can just pause out of it to skip it. Alright, those first four were a little easy, but this one's a little more difficult to do optimally. Okay, that's fine. This one is particularly easy to miss. Alright, those first rows were a little easy, but it's going to get progressively harder as we go on here. Chuckles, do you want to explain the boosting mechanic that this game has?
Sure. So, outside of the jump mechanic, the main mechanic of the Crazy Taxi games is the Crazy Boost. Basically, you have 4 buttons, brake, accelerate, and then 2 face buttons dedicated to reverse and drive gears. And to increase your speed beyond what you would normally do just by accelerating, you switch from reverse immediately back to drive and then accelerate to create an added boost effect. And you can continuously cycle through that to basically do a limiter cut past the intended speed cap of the game and just go crazy fast. This can also be done in reverse as well, just not quite as much acceleration happens in reverse.
By braking, then doing a crazy dash, and then braking again, that's the quickest way to stop. And that's why I was going in drive, then reverse, then drive, and reverse again.
So what are your thoughts on The Offspring?
If you hate The Offspring, you'll hate this game, but that no one doesn't like The Offspring, so...
Everyone loves The Offspring.
Yeah. This game actually only has 4 songs in it, and I hear them over and over and over again, but honestly, I'm not sick of it at all.
It fits so perfectly.
There really isn't a better band for this game, honestly. You've noticed that a lot of these maps obviously have cars in them. There's a little thing I'd like to call a RNG. The cars randomly spawn. Sometimes I get really bad spawns. It's not very common, but like on this map in particular, there's a double bus, or 2 double buses can spawn in the same lane, so it'd be really hard to pass at that point. Alright, that wasn't horrible. It's always fun to watch you hit cars off the edge.
The collision physics can be really wonky sometimes and just completely throw you or whoever you hit off course.
Yeah, very highly likely to see that in some of the later levels.
Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't make any sense.
You're intended to use the jump mechanic over these, but obviously, as you can see, you don't need it. You can just drive straight over.
Very quick $50 donation from Headcase. Shout out to the Crazy Taxi crew, especially my man Chuckles. Donation to his choice.
Kill the Yoshis.
All right.
Not bad. You get the small apple map.
Okay, so there was 4 characters or cavies you could pick from. I picked Hot D specifically because of his name.
He's also probably got some good attributes too.
Yeah, they're actually slightly different as far as their mechanics go. Chuckles, I guess, can explain that.
Sure. So, besides just being Hot D, his cavi is actually the heaviest of the 4, which makes it a little less likely that you're going to get bounced around whenever you run into something. And he also has really good handling. He's very similar to Gus from the first game.
What about what taxi he's driving as well?
Sorry?
What about what taxi he's driving as well?
Taxi, oh, that just affects the weight. It is a little bit smaller compared to some of the other ones, but that usually doesn't make much of a difference.
Drift like crazy.
Are you going to go for it?
No, I'm not.
Okay. There's actually a neat little skip in this level where there are metal barriers on the side, and you're normally just supposed to do a drift and drop down between each successively zigzagging back and forth platform, but you can actually drift straight into the metal barrier on the side, hit a lower barrier platform, and then either hop or drive back onto the platform.
It is
And
extremely difficult to do.
It's very finicky. A lot of times you'll just run into an invisible wall on your way back in. Doesn't seem to be consistent how it's placed. So.
It's roughly a 20-second time saver if you get it first try. I can try to show it off afterwards if there's time.
And this is definitely where the levels pick up in difficulty. Besides having to go fast and do a crazy boost between each successive jump, you have a very limited angle at which you can make the jump and continue on without losing any speed. It's really easy to get bopped by one of the edges of the platforms.
Ooh, okay.
Nice.
I have to do it the other way. Nope. Yeah, I barely got the angle wrong there, and I got punished for it really badly. Okay, let's try again.
Nice.
All right, we got it.
Can you handle the lowrider?
All right, so we've unlocked the bike now. That becomes extremely important. But first, I'm going to do one more level with the car. This is probably the hardest level in the whole run.
This is definitely a run ender for pretty much everyone. Just the even more difficult version of stairs. And the main problem is whenever you do a jump, it's not, unless you're really precise, you can easily get off balance and not have all your tires hit the ground. And normally what happens is to do a full jump, all your tires have to be on the ground. Otherwise, you're just going to do a little offset.
Okay.
You still got it.
Nice.
All right. One death is good. All right, so now I'm going to switch over to the bike. The bike is overall just better than the cars. You'll lose some weight, but you have a lot better handling. This is also an extremely difficult level to do deathless. So.
Ready?
I have a $50 donation from Maximilian78. Crazy Taxi is easily one of the greatest games of all time. Great to see it at AGDQ, beating cancer by making some crazy money.
I've only ever had a handful of deathless runs, so it's pretty common that I die multiple times in no reset runs.
That's just the nature of this game, really, though.
It's actually a lot more difficult than it looks. And what he's doing right now is a drift hop. Normally you could just drive straight up to an edge and hop onto it.
I couldn't get a drift there.
Ready?
But whenever you're doing a drift and then jumping straight out of that, there's a potential that, because your tires aren't completely flat on the ground, that it will just eat your jump. And you can also rub against the edge and sometimes not make it. Like that.
Ready?
But,
The edges are not your friend. Sometimes you'll stay on despite sliding along it like I did there, but that time I didn't get so lucky. Alright, try this again. Alright, I'm gonna do grandpa strats here, just so I make sure I get it. Okay.
that last turn is actually really difficult to make.
Nice move. Here's a special present.
Oh yeah, that's
It's
a
a
thing.
baby stroller. Congrats.
I can show that off afterwards if there's time as well. It's pretty fun.
Is it?
Fun. Incredibles level fun.
Okay.
Oh no.
And this level has a really long loading screen because it has to load the entire actual map from the main arcade mode.
So the last two levels are actually a sort of gauntlet-style challenge with each of the individual arcade maps. For whatever reason, we've added on a magic mime assistant that's going to produce a bunch of passengers for us out of thin air.
Dude, we're at Burger King.
Have it your way, guys. There's only I believe it's 3 actual stores in here. I'll be going around to the entire map and visiting every single place. This is a pretty good run so far as aisles go.
So we
There's
have
actually a neat little shortcut that he just made right here. You can do a jump and get over that street level to save about 10 seconds getting into that passenger drop-off. There's actually a lot of little small time savers like that just because the arcade maps are based off of New York. There's a lot of grid-like structure going on, and to add to the jump mechanic, they added a little bit of verticality to the shortcuts like that.
Alright, this is the hardest drift in the entire run. It looks really cool if I get it right. Okay, I didn't get it. But if I can get enough speed and drift, I can stop straight into that loading zone and be aiming toward the next area. So as you can see, RNG is pretty prominent in this level. I can turn this corner and there could just be a butts there and I could lose several seconds because of that. Chuckles always gets mad at me because I don't jump nearly enough as I should be.
That's right. Chat, I'm actually going to need you to just remind Tudos that he can jump.
Maybe I'll jump once or twice.
got
was
a
good.
$75 donation from Lanzareth. Hi everyone, please play slower. AGDQ forever.
There you go.
Well, I played slower just for you there.
Good guy, Tito's.
It's actually a little interesting with the passenger drop-off green border. You don't have to actually be right inside of it. It's a little finicky. They, just like every other part of the game, it's not quite programmed as well as it could be.
Yeah.
I'll try to do a stop outside the zone just to show it off what we're talking about here. There we go. So there's a little more leeway than you might think there would be. Here's another cool stop that I can get it. Nice. And I'm just need to go in here. Drift stops are one of the coolest parts about this game. They just look really nice when executed correctly.
Oops. That red card.
Oh, I totally forgot the Gap's a real store. I guess that makes 4 actual stores in this
I
game.
completely forgot about that too.
Now we're at the Hard Rock Cafe.
Hard Rock Cafe and FAO Shorts were the other ones,
just-
along with BK.
The map can definitely be a little more difficult to memorize compared to Crazy Taxi 1 because it's so city-based.
Okay, so those phone booths and garbage cans actually do a lot to stop your momentum if you're going really slow.
For whatever reason, compared to everything else in the game, they're really rock solid, and it's really easy for them to just get
Like
stuck
those,
in front of you.
like those park benches in that mailbox right there, you can literally just drive through it even at a low speed with no problem. Okay. And then the final place is the area where we started. All right. Then there's one more left. And it is pretty much, it's a similar challenge, and it's on the other map in this game. Unlike the one we just did, this one you can stop, you can take any of the customers anywhere you want, so it's not in any set order. I actually looked at the IL record for this video and just took the route from that and I use it in this. And I believe it's the fastest way to do it, after going over a bunch of different ideas as well.
Yeah, we've actually discussed over a bunch of different things, but basically what ends up being is just a sort of semicircle clockwise around the map.
Oh, that's not good. That's why it's not good.
Oh my god. I like how you just left his car flipped. You have to take a
He was
customer
in my
somewhere.
way. Why would I help him?
Also liked how you did that on a bike.
Uh-huh. I should also mention that RNG also is referring to parked cars as well. There are some straightaways where there's a decent chance where there could be a ton of cars blocking my way. And that would be really problematic. So I use the sidewalks to avoid traffic, and if there were cars in my way I couldn't avoid traffic, I'd have to go back into traffic.
The parked cars he was referring to usually end up on the sidewalk.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'll just do that.
At least it looks cool.
We have a $15 donation from I Ate Your Pie. Yo, what's up? It's your boy Pie coming in with a hot donation from my fellow Redditor Tudos. Everyone, make sure you 000 viewer host games done quick during his run to help kick cancer's butt this year.
I just want to give a personal shout out to streambig.net. You know, if you want tons of viewers like my boy I Ate Your Pie does and get subscriber on Twitch, streambig.net's your resource for that.
And be sure to follow Pi on twitch.tv/IAteYourPie/subscribe.
That is true.
But like actually.
Okay, so this section isn't going particularly well. That mistake I made at the, I believe it was a train station, missing the jump cost me several seconds.
It's because you're not jumping.
Dang, man. I can't do this jumping thing that I keep getting from Chuckles. Someday. Okay. Oh, one thing I should mention. Most of these cars are kind of copied and pasted from the original Crazy Taxi, except for like 1 or 2. The tall giant buses are one of them. This one right here. I guess I put in, like, you saw me try to jump over there. It's harder to jump over it. I'm assuming that's the reason why they put it in.
It's also interesting to note that even though this is supposed to be based off New York, the roads are a lot wider than the first game, and the traffic's generally less populated, even though it's a much longer level, time-wise.
Yeah, which means the RNG doesn't affect me nearly as much as it did in the first version. Oof. Hitting that ramp there seems like a good idea, but it's really not. You won't make it if you try to get up here using the ramp. It's better to just jump. Here's another cool drift stop I like doing. Nice. Even with the car in the way, I got it. Good. All right, another shortcut. Ugh, that was gross. I do have to go to Burger King, unfortunately.
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay, that was
Right.
kind of an example of the strange physics.
Yeah. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense where you end up after colliding with a car.
I've been turned completely 180 degrees, and I've lost runs due to stuff like that.
So time is actually coming up after he drops off these last two customers.
Right, and time.
2101.
Okay. And you don't actually get credits for being that. You get the 4 original cabbies from the original Crazy Taxi. And if I can just take a minute to show off some things I talked about earlier.
While you're setting that up, we have a $500 donation from RFM. A friend just passed away from colon cancer a few hours ago. I wasn't going to donate this year as I'm unemployed, but this fatefully timed loss changed my mind. Donating so I never have to experience again. Rest in peace, Steel. Save the animals.
All right, so you kind of take an angle like that and drift into that pole. That wasn't very good. I've never actually gotten this trick. It's very, very difficult with the car. It's a little easier with the bike. It kind of looks like that. My angle was kind of off there. Try one more time. No, one more time.
The other really good addition to this feature is you can add in actual replays of your good saves, so this is in fact possible.
Oof. I was,
Oh,
but yeah, you can see I need to like bounce off again once I bounce off the first one. And the last thing I would just want to show off is the stroller. I will play like the first few stops of this crazy special to see, just to show how awful this car is. It looks cool, but it is not very good. I haven't actually beaten like these last 2 challenges with the buggy. It's very, very hard to control. It feels like you're driving on butter. Not even kidding. All right. Come on, go. Go. Come on. Hello? It's so bad. All right, one more.
are there any benefits to the stroller?
No.
And does it turn from the back wheels?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It is. You can like I can barely control it at all. It's so bad. All right, it's enough silliness. That's Crazy Taxi 2. Thanks for watching. I just want to give a shout out to the Rookery and the SRL Splatoon team and the Splatoon competitive community who, yes, that is the thing. They are watching. And yeah, thanks.
That was Crazy Taxi 2. Coming up soon next is Sonic Advance.